Hi, my name is Roxanne, and I'm doing this YouTube video today to talk about having children that are in the NICU. So, I have I have had two babies in the NICU, so I feel like I'm a little bit of a pro um, at it. Right? I'm not having any more, but my last two was a struggle, and the process of having a baby in the NICU is really scary. And I've seen from my first experience to my last experience, and I've seen the difference within myself and learning a lot, um, and I've seen it in a lot of these other mothers in there as well. Like you see the transition from when they first got into the NICU and they first have the baby and being terrified, to it, having a sense of calmness, and sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it all goes left. So in my case, I am a praying, God-fearing person. And let me tell you, I don't think I've ever prayed so much in my life. And I prayed for both of my children, and I named my children from the Bible. My daughter's name is Ariel, which is light of light of God. I should probably look that up. I forgot. I believe it's Lion of God. And my son's name is Ethan. So, it's a Bible name. So, those are my two last children. I have four children, but I got two big boys and two little ones that were preemies. Anyway, going through the NICU or being in the NICU with your baby is a pretty scary process. And for some mothers, it ends up well. And for some mothers, it doesn't. In my case, thank God, my children did not have any major issues. So I felt like God blessed me in that way. I'm not saying that if something happens, sorry guys, excuse me. I'm not saying that if something happens to you that you weren't blessed. That's not what I'm saying at all. Everybody's belief is different, right? My belief is my belief. Yours is yours. I know who my God is, and I have a relationship with him. But both of my children I felt like they were spared by the grace of God. Anyway, I don't want to get too religious in here, but that's how I feel. That's what I believe. The process of going through NICU is scary. And I will encourage you moms to be strong. I've seen some mothers come in there my second time around and are bawling and are crying, and I've seen some babies go, listen to me. These babies are the strongest thing on God's green earth. They're tough. They are strong. My kids have marks all over their body from needle sticks. And I'm terrified of needles. I'm watching my daughter get needles, and it made me cry, and my son. And she was just like it was nothing. These kids are tough. Just be encouraged to know that when your child make it through this experience, they're gonna be tough. They're gonna be good. It's really up to you to lead them and to grow them strong the rest of the way. And if you've gone through that experience as a NICU mom, trust me, you're tough. You're tougher than you think. So I'm here to really just talk to you moms, just to encourage you moms that it's going to be okay. With me, the first time around, I asked a lot of questions. One, when they gave me something, or they threw a scenario at me or issue at me, and I didn't understand it. I didn't pretend like I understood. I said, give me the writing, the literature that you have on it. And if I didn't know, I read about it. I looked it up. I did my research. and come back to them with an answer. You have to do that. You have to do that. You have to take some action in your hands. What you can control, control it, because this is your child. If you can control it, control it. Do the best that you can to be knowledgeable about what your options are. Excuse me. I have allergies, guys. But be your best to be knowledgeable about what your options are as a parent, going through this process. I did not let the doctors make all the decisions for me and my child. There were options put in front of me, and I came up with like, if there were two options put in front of me and I felt like there was another option, I came up with the other option and asked them if that was an option as well. And this is really my second time around. I think the doctors have some sort of respect had some sort of respect for me, simply because I tried to be aware. I used the time that I was home, because I was home on maternity leave, while he was in a NICU. And I used that time to see my child every day. I drove up there every day. I actually got sick at the beginning of the year. I don't want to say it was COVID, but I was pretty damn sick. And I stayed away from the NICU about a good week after I got sick while I was recovering. Overall, I stayed away 3 weeks, and they said you can't come in the NICU unless you're fever free. I think it's 48 hours, and I gave myself almost extra week at that point. And even when I did go back to the NICU, I didn't touch him. No, ma'am. I didn't want to touch him. I didn't want to cough over him. I didn't want to touch him with my dirty hands, even though you got to wash your hands when you're going to the NICU. Like, as soon as you hit the door, you got to wash your hands. So, but still, I can cough between the door until where he is staying. And, I didn't want to take no chance. At the time, I didn't know anything about COVID, but I could tell you one thing. I was pretty sick. And it felt like a flu, but it was, and I've had flus before. This is probably the worst one I've ever had. I don't know what it was. But anyway, I digress. As a mother, you need to be knowledgeable about what they're putting in your child, what your options are for your child. I'm going to give you an example. My child had an issue, his body had an issue breaking down sugar. Okay? I don't remember what it's called, but his body was not breaking down the sugar, and therefore his sugar levels were dropping. Okay? And you can't leave the NICU unless your sugar levels are leveled off. Sorry. But so what they did was they tried to they changed the way that how often they gave him his milk, and they determined after a while that it could be the breast milk, because at the time I was pumping for him because he was not home. And so they gave me the option. One of the options were that they may have to take him off of breast milk. And so when I went in there the day, and they told me, I am a huge advocate for breast milk. Okay? You're not going to take my child off of breast milk? So when they told me that, I said, no. There has to be a second option. This video is getting really long. There has to be a second option. So he gave me another option, and I gave him a third option. I said, okay, we're not going to take him off of breast milk. That has to be the last option for me, because he needs those nutrients. And as long as I'm able to pump and give it to him, I'm going to give it to him, and he needs it because he needs to grow. He needs to be strong. And so I said, okay, well, if another option was just take him off breast milk, put him on formula, because his body will digest that better, because the formula is already somewhat broken down. He doesn't have to work as hard to break down the formula. No, ma'am. So I said, well, I'll compromise. Let's give him part formula and part breast milk. But I'm not going to X out breast milk altogether. That's not going to work for me. Not that I wasn't like looking out for his best interest, because clearly the breast milk is for his best interests. It's really important to his development, especially that young and that vulnerable. So you have to be aware. You have to be knowledgeable. You have to read up on what your options are, and just so that you know when they talk to you about things, even if you don't know, like I said, research it, check it out. Okay, every baby that leaves the hospital, I want to say it's every in the wintertime, or yeah, because he was born in winter, and in the wintertime, they sorry, my phone is flashing. They have to leave there with the RSV, which is it's for respiratory. It's some sort of respiratory illness that these kids get, especially preemies, in the wintertime. But my son never left the house, literally, for the first. He's 6 months now. He's barely left the house now, and so I don't play that, and I secure him when he does leave the house. Now that we have COVID, he doesn't go anywhere. I think he's probably left the house maybe 3 times since he was born. So it's just what I felt like I had to do as a parent, not judging anyone else and what they do or what what they've done. That's what I felt like I had to do as a parent. So, anywho, that's what I want to talk to you guys about. But listen, God is aware. He's alive. And if you believe in him, he will be there for you. Right? He is not a man. He cannot lie. So be encouraged and know that he is with you. Okay? You're not going through this alone. When I went through my first experience with NICU with my daughter, I was alone. Her father left me. I was alone. Him and I separated. We weren't in any communication, and we weren't together, and we just needed some time apart. The both of us. So it's not he didn't leave me, but we really just need some time apart. We took about maybe a year off from each other, and I was headstrong because I'm a New Yorker. Well, I'm a Jamaican, but I'm a New Yorker, and I was very independent. I've always been independent, so I'm like, I don't need you. I don't need this. I don't need you. And so I went through that experience alone. It was hard. It was hard, but some way, at some time in that experience, I realized I really wasn't alone. I thought I was, but I wasn't. God was with me the entire time. He literally, like, picture it like you see remember those paintings or the artwork that's footprints, right? It was like that. It was like he literally carried me through this experience. And at the end of the day, I realized I am stronger than I think I am. When people look at me and anyone say to me, "Oh, you're weak, this and you're weak," not me. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I am stronger than I think I am. And you know what? 99.999% of women are stronger. You guys are stronger than you think you are. And some of you know you're strong. Me, I didn't know how strong I was until I went through this experience. And I'm like, yo, what? I'm a boss. I'm a boss. Okay? Nobody can tell me nothing. I went through this thing, and with God on my side, literally carrying me. He carried me through this experience. And I am much better off because of it. So that's what I came on here to say. You guys don't know me. And hopefully, this video can be spread around and